up, Eagle Talk fam?
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 113.
Yes, y'all. We are so excited for our guest today because we are starting our Doing It or continuing on with our Doing It Scared series. And we believe that nothing exciting happens in your comfort zone.
That's right.
And we want to start highlighting some real life people that we know that have done it scared in their life, and just so that they can share their story so that you can be encouraged. And our guest today is super dope.
Yep.
And it's such an interesting way that we met him. But let's introduce you to David.
What's up, David?
What's up? How's everybody doing?
Look, we are doing good. And let me tell you, the first moment that I met you, I knew that you were my people because would you consider yourself to be pretty extroverted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I sensed that. So we had just landed in Las Vegas back in April.
Hadn't been there 10 minutes, and in true Rosemary fashion, she met somebody.
Look, we stopped at the store, to get our little snacks or whatever before we went to the hotel. And David and his lovely wife, they were walking in the store right behind them. And I don't know how we struck up a conversation, but I said something about being from Texas, or maybe you did.
Yeah.
And look, David did a me on me. So Corey was ahead of us in the store, and David was like talking, let us know that you didn't live too far from us. And he whipped out his phone to Corey like, man, what's your number? Like,
Right. That's exactly how it happened.
That's exactly how it happened.
And we looked up. We was front row at the Jabberwockies.
Yeah, he was like, right, we're there. And he's like, man, literally, y'all, 5 minutes within knowing him, he's like, we have like front row tickets for the Jabberwockies, and our friends couldn't come. Y'all want to come? Me and Corey look at each other. We was like, yeah,
we'll be there.
and that's how this friendship was born. So welcome.
Thank y'all so much. It was so dope meeting y'all too.
Yeah.
The energy was reciprocated, and it just feels so good to meet people like y'all, because I have a hard time meeting people like that too as well.
Yeah, you said that when we met
Yeah,
too.
so whenever we met, we connected, and it's just been a great ride.
Yeah, it has been great. And he's just not like some dude just randomly inviting people to Vegas shows. But when we actually dug into you, it's like he kind of dope.
Yeah.
And
So-
the wife,
so-
y'all are kind of dope.
So here's what I say. I get a rush on studying people and people's stories.
Yeah.
I learn a lot about myself and just new ways of thinking when I hear people's story. And I don't know if you know David's whole story. We can kind of dig into it. But he's from the Midwest, right?
Yep, Ohio.
Yep, came down. How long you been here?
I've been in Texas since 2014, Dallas since 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
So very similar to us, right? And he just has an amazing story. So I don't know how you want to start it, because we only got a little bit of time, but I want to make sure that the people
we want to get all
before
of
we
it.
get to talking trash.
Okay,
right?
okay.
I want to get some history about your whereabouts and how you got here.
Gotcha. So born and raised Dayton, Ohio. Went through a lot growing up. I didn't know my mother till I was 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
My mother been to the penitentiary twice. She had my sister in the penitentiary. And I made the news when I was 6 weeks old. It was a drug bust, and they got me on the news. The police carried me out in a blanket.
Oh, wow.
And they told my mother at the time, like, hey, either he goes to children's service or you got to call a family member to come get him. And she called my aunt, and she came and got me, and I stayed with her until I was 8 years old, and she died. And then I was living with her daughter, which was my cousin. And my mom was still out there on drugs and stuff like that. So my mom wanted me back. So I ended up moving back with her. And we lived in every ghetto, every project that there was in Dayton, Ohio. I grew up very rough, got into a lot of fights and stuff like that. Fast forward, when I was in the 7th grade, my mom had to have open heart surgery.
Oh, wow.
So, because she was doing so much drugs. And so when she got off the drugs, we became like super close, best friends at that time.
Yeah.
But even during that process, I was kind of like in the streets a little bit, because it was like she couldn't get me the things that I wanted. I'm hanging with the wrong crowd. I'm in the wrong environment. But all my cousins was out there doing that. So it was like, okay, cool, I'll follow suit. But I always knew that wasn't for me. I always knew that, dealing like hard drugs like heroin, crack, cocaine, and all of that stuff. I just did weed and pills.
Yeah.
But eventually I stopped doing that because I'm like, I started seeing people going to jail, and I'm a picky guy. I love women, love my wife at the time, you know, and I love food, certain foods. So
Yeah, you was like, I this ain't for me.
this ain't for me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
nah, I can't handle it. So fast forward, my uncle who lived in Austin, he had came and got me once I graduated from high school. Because I knew I didn't want to live in Dayton, Ohio, and I took pre-college courses to become a firefighter.
Oh wow.
And I never forget the chief came to my graduation. He sat at my table with me and my mom. He was like, "Look, if you stay in Dayton, I can promise you a job at the fire department." But I was like, "Nah, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta go." And I moved to Austin, Texas, originally when I was 18. Me and my uncle wife, we kind of didn't get along a little bit.
Yeah.
So I ended up moving back to Ohio like 2 months later. And I was determined. I'm like, I can't stay here. So my stepdad, which is my mom's husband, he had a niece that stayed in Atlanta. And I wasn't a bad child, but it's just my environment. So I ended up moving to Atlanta. She was graceful enough to let me move into Atlanta. I stayed with her, and then that's when my eyes got open to really Black success, Black entrepreneurship, and you don't have to be a drug dealer to have money. And I went from sleeping in the attic in Dayton, Ohio, to staying in the loft downtown in Atlanta.
Oh wow.
So that really changed my life a whole lot.
There's a piece, not to cut you off. There's a piece of the story that I vividly remember you telling me about the Atlanta living and lifestyle, but you were working. And I think you delivered a pizza to somebody's house, like a mega mansion or something. Touch on that a little bit.
So I was working at Domino's Pizza off Howell Mill Road, and I had a beat up Mazda Protege, man. I bought it from a guy for like $1,500. I had to carry a hammer to hit the starter. So I bought that car, man, and I didn't have no tags. He didn't even own the car, so I had to keep reaching out to him every month to get a 30-day tag.
Just thugging it.
It was ugly, broker than broke. Every night I was eating pizza. But
and Domino's pizza.
Domino's pizza at that too. And I never forget this guy's name. His name was Ahmad Amin. He was from Chicago, and he gave me $40 to go buy some non-slip resistant shoes. This is how broke I was, and I couldn't afford them. My phone is off. You know, I couldn't navigate to go deliver pizza. Like put it in GPS. Yeah. He was like, "Man, we gotta start making you some money. Here's $40. Go to Walmart, buy you some non-slip resistant shoes, and come back." I come back. He was like, "Do you know how to read the map?" I'm like, "No." And he was like, "Well, this pizza just popped up. It's going to East Paces Ferry Road. And for those who know Atlanta, East Paces Ferry Road is like one of the most richest area in Atlanta, Georgia." But I didn't know because I was always in there making pizza. So he gave me this address, man. I'm running out of gas. My gas light just came on. And I'm like, I forgot which direction. He told me where to go because I never read the map a day in my life. Yeah. So I see this man jogging down the street, and he was like, and I stopped him. I said, "Excuse me, sir, how do I get to East Paces Ferry Road?" He said, "Well, you're close. Go down, make a right at the light, keep going down. You're going to make a left, and you're going to run right into East Paces Ferry Road." I did what he told me to do. I pull up to this mansion, porch outside, just lavish. And I'm like, man, this is beautiful. Yeah. And I'm praying in my head, like my gas light on, I'm broke. Please give me a good tip. Right. Please just give me a good tip. And so the lady opens up the door, and marble floor. You see straight through this woman's house. Bath. They was in the pool. And she gave me a $20 tip. I got in the car and I started crying. And I just thank God. And I put $15 in my tank, and I kept $5 in my pocket.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The struggle.
Wow. Yeah. It was real. It was real because I couldn't call home. No one have money. And so from there, man, but I always take advantage of the opportunity, even when things is not in my favor. Yeah. You know, me being a Domino's Pizza driver led me to making $60,000 a year working at Liberty Tire, where we pick up the tires from Discount Tires, Kaufman Tire, and I delivered pizza to them. But I was always networking, and just always talking to people.
Always opening your mouth. I can attest. You do that. You open your mouth.
Okay, so now we can go from 60,000 a year to a 7-figure a year business, right? And I remember when I first met you, most of the time when I meet somebody, they got some sort of hustle or something. You know, you know how it is when we meet each other, right?
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on. I knew it wasn't real estate, but I didn't know what kind of industry you were in. And then when you said valet trash, I'm like, what in the world is valet trash?
How did you transition?
Right.
And I'm curious to hear how you transitioned from Atlanta back to Texas.
Okay. Yeah. So I was working at the tire plant from the Domino's Pizza job. Did that for like a year and a half, making great money. But then, you know how you you're spending money because you're making a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then something hit me, and it was just like, you know what, David, you need to start saving your money. Because I was just blowing it. Like, you know, I'm in Lenox Square Mall buying the J's, all type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I told my girlfriend at the time, I'm like, I need to start saving my money because anything can happen.
Yeah.
This was probably like Friday, I tell her this. Monday, I go to work, they fired me.
Oh,
laid
wow.
me off. That right there sticks with me like no other.
Yeah.
And so even right now in my business, I always make sure I pay myself first.
Yeah.
Always make sure I pay myself first. That was a tough lesson that I learned with money.
Yeah.
And so from there, you asked me, how do I transition back to
Texas?
Me and my ex-girlfriend, we had broke up. She was from Denver, Colorado. And I had lost that job. So I'm back to square one and pedal to post, job to job and stuff like that. I had got into an accident, a car accident. Someone had hit me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was waiting on a check to come.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know how I feel waiting on that accident check to come. You waiting on that.
That changes everything.
Right? So I was waiting on a check to come from an accident. Someone had hit me. But I was living with a friend. And I never had a roommate besides me living with my girlfriend at the time. But I never had a roommate. I never wanted a roommate. If I don't have my own place, I don't want a roommate with another guy. I just never believed in that.
Yeah.
And I had a roommate with this guy, man, and his brother was stealing my clothes, shoes, and stuff like that. My ex-girlfriend, she moved back to Colorado, and I was having a hard time. So I called my uncle again. I'm like, listen, I come back to Austin. I will only stay with you for 6 months, max a year, but I'm gonna try to be out of there as quickly as possible. I said, I'm older now. I was young at the time. I was 18 at the time. At this time, I'm like 21, I believe, 21 or 22, maybe like 20 to 21. I said, I'm older now. I'm more mature. I said, I just need this opportunity. I don't want to go back to Dayton, Ohio. And he talked to his wife, my aunt. We made amends. She let me come back. I came back. Second day, I bought a car because I only got like $4,700 from that accident.
Yeah.
The lawyers got me on that one.
Yeah.
So I spent like $2,500 on another Mazda, a Mazda 6 this time.
Right.
I got a job at IBC Bank like the next week. So I was determined because I'm like, this is it. This is my last chance. If I don't make this right, I got to go back to Ohio.
Yeah.
Right.
So I get a job doing that, and I started working at IBC Bank, and I went to Jiffy Lube to go get my car worked on. And this guy was talking to me. He was like, "Hey man, have you heard of this company called Yodel?" I'm like, "No, what is that?" He said, "Man, you young, man. I think this would be a great company. It's like Facebook. They feed you, and they pay you a lot of money. It's sales, marketing. I think that'd be a good job for you." And me, I'm the type of person, you tell me something, I'ma listen.
Yeah.
I'ma do.
Yeah.
If I feel like it's gonna benefit me and what you're saying, you're not leading me in the wrong way.
You're gonna at least look into it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I looked into it. I got the interview and they hired me. And that right there changed my life because I went from retail sales, I went from door-to-door sales in Atlanta, and then I moved to Texas. Now I'm doing cold call sales.
Yeah.
So I'm a 3-headed snake now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So then from there, I met this lady named Chanel. Shout out to Chanel. Hope you see this. I meet her, and I went back to her place, and I was about to take out her trash.
Yeah, this is where it all changed.
This is where all changed. I'm about to take out her trash, and she was like, "You don't have to take out the trash." I'm like, "Why?" She said, "We got valet trash." So in Atlanta, I lost a bet at my friend's apartment where I did take out the trash, and the compactor was way in the back. Mm-hmm. And so as I'm walking back to the back, this elderly lady come down the stairwell, and she was like, "Can you take out my trash for me?" I'm like, "Sure, no problem." So as I'm walking back to the compactor, cars are just driving past me with trash on top of the hoods, trash inside the trunks, and everything. But I didn't think it was a business in 2010, 2011. I didn't think it was nothing until I went over her apartment. And I'm like, "This is actually a business?" She was like, "Yeah." I said, "No way." And so I started looking into it. I'm stalking the valet trash guys. I'm asking them questions, looking at the tote bags that they carrying. I said, "Man, I'm gonna do this." And I said, give me a name. And she was like, Doorside Valet. And I'm like, I like that. And I ran with that. And here we are now, 5 states about to be. Yeah.
That is amazing.
This dude went from mama being in jail to being on the news at 6 weeks to being in how many states?
I'm in 5 states now.
5 different states. Yeah. Not to mention you in the process of relocating your mother here now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That has to be a huge win in your heart.
Yes.
To be able to do that for her.
Yes.
So you want to ask him about the trash business?
I do.
I'm going to ask.
Well, here is my question, because, I mean, it seems like, like listening to your story, you definitely had the odds stacked against you, right?
For sure.
So I can only imagine that there were plenty of times where you just might have felt like giving up and packing it up and just like, you know, or I'm assuming, was there ever a time where you just were kind of like, "Lord, why? Like, why is my life like this?" Yeah. And what was the turning point for you to just keep pushing?
Man, absolutely. There was multiple times where I was just questioning myself, like, man, what the hell am I doing? Like, it's you know, because like growing up, you got to think too. My sister was like the golden child. She stayed with grandma and papa. Mm-hmm. You know, my cousins, their mothers, they're young, they're hip, they got the J's, they got this. I'm in Skechers, Shacks, you know,
Shacks.
you know what I'm saying? Like just going through the most. But even at that time, I always dreamed big.
Yeah.
I always knew I was gonna be rich. I always knew, like, I just felt it, like, you know, and I always knew that I was different from my cousins because we can go out and hang out. I'm the first one up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, ready for my day. Yeah. And we just stayed up to like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm up, ready. They sleep to 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I always knew I was different from them. And then too, even when we all used to get together, everybody used to smoke weed. I didn't.
Yeah.
So that's when I really started to engage into drugs, because every time I hung out with my friends and cousins, they were always calling the weed man. This is how I knew I was. And then you was like,
too. Wait a minute, I could be the weed man. So you just entrepreneur. It sounds like you even in that venture, it sounds like you understood what I think entrepreneurship is, right? You have to recognize the problem and then figure out, okay, how can I provide the solution to that problem?
Absolutely.
Right? So one problem was they wanted to get high, you became the weed man. Yeah. One problem is you got, you know, people that for whatever reason can't get their trash all the way to the compactor. So now you are the trash man.
Trash man. Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because we're talking about the things that you didn't do. Let's talk about the habits that you did have.
Yeah, what did you put in
to
place?
Get there, right? I know you're an avid reader.
Yeah.
He's literally bought me a book or two and brought it by the office. When I walked in here today, what were you reading today?
It's called The Treasure. So I got this book from the guy that I work out at the gym with. He's a 72-year-old man. Mm-hmm. He was doing $100 million in sales and business, sold his company. And I developed a relationship with him at the gym, and he told me that he had something for me at the end of the workout. He said, "David, when you finish, I got something I want to give to you." So I'm like, okay. So I walked down to the locker room. He said, "I want you to read this book," and he kind of gave me some details on how the book was. And
what's the name of it again?
It's called Treasure by Ed Cole.
Okay, that's a good one.
Treasure by Ed Cole.
So
well,
I'm sorry.
Something that I hear David saying over and over, and I feel like is as simple as it is it's a doing it scared moment for a lot of people because I know like how forward you were, and not in a weird way with us.
Yeah.
You just talked about how just this guy, I know you walked up to that man at the gym and started talking. You know, I could just imagine, but how many people are reluctant or scared to just open their mouth and for the ask, right? And whether that ask is, hey, what y'all into tonight, or where like whatever it is. Has that ever been a fearful place for you? And if so, how did you break past that, whatever it was, just to put yourself in front of people?
Yeah, you know, like it never been a fearful thing for me. I just think once I got out of Ohio, because it's kind of like, it's a Midwest thing. It's like you don't talk to people that you don't know.
Yeah, Ooh,
yeah, you know, yeah. So like when I moved to Atlanta, I had to change because everybody that looks like me is not doing the things that I used to see.
Yeah.
So I kind of adapted to that change, and I just kept that thing going, moving to Texas, and just always just being myself, because I'm a people person. My mom, she's a people person. We can walk in the party and be the life of the party, you know, and just talk to people. And I feel like my aura, people just gravitate towards me too. And I just try to be as authentic as myself as much as possible. And I think that kind of led me to being fearless with just talking to people.
Yeah, I definitely will agree with that. I'm sitting there thinking when we had the event at the office.
Oh, David was working the room.
I
can't stand a networking event where people come and just talk to people they know.
Yeah.
The homie over here, like, who are we talking to? It was one of our friends that was like, oh yeah, I just saw David.
Javon. He went to dinner with Javon. He sent me selfies with old boy Corey. They riding in the car together. It was like 5 people at least that was like, yeah, just talk to David. We've been hanging out. I'm like, this dude is really, really like doing what he say he gonna do.
Yeah, you did.
But all right, so I'm sorry.
No.
I want to go back to the habits because I'm real big on habits. How was your thinking, and what habits did you have or did you develop along the way that helped you to where you are now?
I got to give a shout out. I always tell this story too, like Juan Lozada. This is when I worked at Wilson's Leather in Sugarloaf Mills Mall.
Oh, Wilson's them $99
Wilson
leathers,
Leather.
baby.
Yes.
Listen,
yes.
I bought you one of them for one Christmas.
Yeah, you did. And the gloves too.
Gloves. Look.
Gloves, everything.
So what's the Wilson story?
So Juan Lozada, he was like, man, David, you're a good looking guy. You're the #1 sales guy here. You just need to read. And I'm like, man, I don't read no books, man. I just got out of college. I dropped out. Like, all right, I'm done reading books.
Right.
And it reminds you, I'm young at the time. So I think he was probably like 3 to 4 years older than I was at the time. And so I come in to work one day and I'm like, where's Juan at? They was like, he's in the back. And so I go in the back to try to mess with him. His back is like face towards me. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? So I tap him on the shoulder. He did this to me. And I looked, got a book in front of him. And that right there changed my life forever. Because this is the first time that I actually saw somebody telling me what to do that's around my age.
Yeah.
That's actually doing it.
That modeled it.
Yeah. And so from there, man, my first book that I bought was How to Fight for Your Money by David Bach. And then the second book that I bought was Kevin O'Leary, 50 Common Mistakes Between Men, Women, and Money. Because I was just so infatuated with learning how money works because I come from nothing.
Yeah.
And I want to keep what I got, if not to grow what I already have. So just learning how to say no, learning how to network and open your mouth, like you say, and just really connect with people, because people are the currency. And you just have to really tap into it.
People are the currency.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. I hope y'all write that down. People are the currency. That might be the title of this episode because that is true. I mean, I feel like anything you're tapping onto so many interesting points for me, and one is that people really are your the way you leverage yourself, right?
Yeah.
And not just from I want to grow, but in everything. I'm just thinking we just lost a really dear friend. But if I didn't have the people, right, that were helping us walk through it, it would have sent us into a tailspin, you know? And then just opening your mouth and reading. Like anything that we want to know is in a book.
Yep, it's in a book.
It's in a book. And especially like any like billionaire, anybody you want to learn from, if I was to consult with Warren Buffett today, I can't afford to sit at his feet. but I can't afford to go buy his book off Amazon.
Yeah.
There you
right?
go. Yeah, absolutely.
And he's spewing that same knowledge in that book. And it's attainable to us, but it's just disciplining ourselves to go out and get it.
Exactly.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about you in the short or long time of knowing you so far is you're 100% a giver.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about like, buying me books or
I mean, he took us
things.
to the Jabberwockies the first
Yeah,
night.
but here's one. So this is when I knew that you were more than solid. We were selling the Airbnb. 2 days before it closed, I dropped the ball on getting everything out of the Airbnb. Right, I'm thinking it's gonna cost $3,000-$5,000 to hire a moving company. I don't know where to put it. I got to pay for storage. I'm like, David got a box truck, so I call him, and he was like, yeah, okay, so where is it and where you need to go? I said, I just really want to take everything and just put it in my garage. He was like, okay, well, I'm about to call my guy, and y'all work the deal. Use my truck and just don't pay me nothing. Y'all, whatever he charges, what he charges. I'm like, come on, dude. Because I told you, I was like, you got to put some sauce on top of it, right? Get you a couple $100. He was like, no, whatever y'all work out. And I think literally a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house from front to back. He came, did it himself, put it in the garage. He charged me like $600.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, David, you sure? And he was like, yeah, I don't want nothing. So I definitely respect that.
Yeah,
I definitely see
it.
you giving in multiple different ways. And I want to end on talking about how that has transitioned to the business that you have.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that you've given along the way to grow that business also.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year, I just took it upon myself. I was just at home, and I always just count my blessings and just see how far I've come, because as entrepreneurs, we always look at what we don't have, where we want to be.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard for us to live in the moment.
Yeah.
And so I just took it upon myself. I just told my wife I'll be right back. And I went to Save-A-Lot in Dallas, and I bought the whole turkeys. I bought the whole store out, and I just sat there by myself, and I just passed them out.
Oh,
They
wow.
couldn't believe it. The security guards called the owner of the store. Like, man, we don't know who this guy is. They thought I was with the organization and everything. I'm like, no, I'm just by myself.
Yeah.
So giving, because I always like to give. The more you give, the more you get. And people
Yeah.
don't understand that.
Yeah.
I have this concept, give to get and get to give. That has taken my business to the next level, even in like my relationship with my wife, my kids, family, friends, and things like that. But sometimes people don't deserve it though.
You're talking right.
Sometimes.
Or
you be like,
they expect certain things.
Yeah, and so that's where I'm at in my life right now with my family right now, because it's like, man, like I didn't try to help all you guys out, and I can't keep doing this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to have a spirit of discernment, right? Because unfortunately, we all have set on the side where, especially when you're striving and achieving, it's almost like now people feel like you have the responsibility to bail them out every time.
Oh my God.
Every time. Like, we ain't gonna bail you out every time. So we completely understand that.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit. I know we only have a couple minutes. We talked about what exactly is your business, and if there are other Eagles that are looking to, because I know you actually teach what you do. So that's like right up my alley.
Yeah.
I love
Straight
that.
out, brother. Straight.
Yeah.
University of Trash.
University of Trash. So let's have a little trash talk. Let them know what you do, and if they're interested in tapping into this business, how you can support.
Got you. So I own Valet Trash Company, and I'm also the owner of University of Trash, where we teach everyone who wants to get into this space on how to properly start their own valet trash business. I went through hell and hot water, learning everything that I learned, suing clients, not getting paid from clients, how you handle that, how to protect yourself when the property sales, management change, going through all of that, going through all of those ups and downs. And I just package it all into my trash course, where people can kind of take the shortcut and just kind of like learn from all of the experiences that I had to go through, that I went through to get where I'm at today.
Look, I love that. And, I do courses and things for realtors, different trainings. And it grinds my gears when people don't want to pay couple hundred or even a couple $1,000s for a course
Man.
that is going to literally save you time, energy, money. Like, you know, you get to like literally sit at the feet of someone who has done it.
So true.
So Eagles, whether it's David's course, my course, like if you have somebody who is doing what you are trying to do, and they're offering, because that's my thing. Like, that's why I started Real Estate Bestie and started teaching realtors, because I'm like, if I would have had somebody, like, what would I have needed? Okay, so let me create what I would have needed, and then it just blows my mind when people don't want to invest.
Appreciate it.
Well,
they don't value it.
Let me say this, because we are from a place where most people don't even want to share.
Yeah.
So now here we are
oversharing
resources, you know, like you say, all the trials and tribulations and things like that. And the conversation could be like, if you give me 5,000 and I give you back 250, like, was it worth it?
Was it worth it?
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Or if I just saved you time and energy. So y'all, if you are interested in valet trash, because it's super intriguing to me when we learn what your business is, and I think it's just something. Would you say it's still kind of an untapped market?
It's an untapped market, but there's things that you can do to implement into the business that can separate you from the competition.
Yes.
And that's what I teach. And we offer more than just valet trash services. We do the junk removal, the trash outs, the Ritz. Now I'm into solid waste hauling, owning Texas Waste Management. We have 2 subdivisions. So I'm always like diversifying the trash.
Yeah. You get
it
dirty.
ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere.
Trash ain't going nowhere. That's true.
Can't live without it.
Yeah, for sure.
That is true. Well, David, this has been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, man.
I'm so happy that you did a meet on me in Vegas.
Right.
And started talking to us. If people want to follow you on your social channels, where can they follow you?
I am David Symes on Instagram and TikTok, and then University of Trash. You can follow the business page as well. So I am David Symes, SIMES, and then at University of Trash as well.
All right. Well, thank you, brother.
I'm super excited. Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely,
I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
And I love the duo that you guys are doing, and keep it up, man. Keep it up.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you. Thanks for coming and sharing your story. Hopefully, you get some calls or maybe some new clients. You just never know. We'll see you guys on the next episode.
Yep.
Yes,
see you
sir.
later,
Yes,
Eagles.
sir.
See ya.
Eagle Talk, baby. Let's go.